I'm Dr. Stephen+Taylor of the Mayfair Optometric Clinic in Victoria, British Columbia, an avid Seahawks fan, and...
Hi, I'm Dave Moody from Seattle, one of Dr. Taylor's longtime friends and an avid Seahawk fan as well.
What? One of the things we wanted to accomplish here, we really love going to the games, and we want to share that with some of our friends and our Facebook friends. And also, I want to tie in a little bit of that to some of the vision-related things that goes along with football and sports, and maybe kind of interlink the two together so we can have some fun with that.
Absolutely. And that's why I think from that perspective, Steve, what transpired yesterday after the weather delay and the miscues early on for Russell and company was when he made that 51-yard pass down the sideline to Baldwin. And
that was pretty spectacular.
Not only was it a great pass, but what I noticed is that really, as he stepped up into the pocket and he could see down the field, I wonder how that compares from a vision perspective. Here was a fabulous play, but he didn't necessarily know that guy was going to be there.
Well, he is perhaps a little vertically challenged. He's about my height, which means out there on a football field, everybody is above you. He has an uncanny ability to be able to kind of know where everybody is, and he has a perceptual knowledge. And I think Doug kind of swung back into his view. I remember at the post game, Russell said that Doug kind of popped back into view and he was able to get a good pass to him. But, for Russell, he has an ability to be able to just know where everybody is. He just kind of has that spatial idea. The whole playing field is going on in his head. Maybe not where the opposing players are coming from, but certainly where his own players are. And of course, that's all part of the game, the game package, the way that they go to playbook, to go and try to learn to do it. But, he seems to have quite the ability to do that. And he has to. He was 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, he's not that tall. No. Or he's not as tall as most of the other quarterbacks.
That's for sure.
So as we think about that, he had an idea where Doug Baldwin was going to be. And as we move through our lives, we're used to moving through our homes, our offices, but once we get outside of our comfort zone, how does age and visual acuity impact our ability to perceive where we are when we may not necessarily have the best eye health?
Well, there's obviously more to vision than just seeing 20/20. Certainly it helps to be able to see clearly, but it's very complicated because vision is also related to each one of us in a cognitive way as well. Most of us can probably close our eyes and walk around our house, and it doesn't take you can move things. Certainly you can see the things that you're going to, but you actually get used to where everything is around you to be able to do that. You need to be able to see clearly to be able to perform in the world. You also need to be able to take that vision and be able to cognitively go and mesh it with our other functions to be able to get like a true visual picture. Somebody in sports has a true visual picture. They are able to go and they see clearly, but they also know how to coordinate that with their other senses and skills to be able to make it into one big package.
So as our world changes around us, what we assume is where. The sofa may be on that side of the room today, but if we move it to the other side tomorrow, we need to be able to see it.
Well, if we don't, we're going to be finding out pretty darn quick because we're going to hit our shins.
Okay.
But all joking aside, yeah, you've got to be able to see things clearly to be able to function clearly. I think the big picture is that there's more to vision than just the visual acuity, that it has to kind of come together into that spatial awareness of what everything is around us. And the more times you do something, the more that becomes ingrained into that spatial awareness for doing that. We do need to be able to see clearly. We do need to be able to maintain our eye health. For those that are sports-related fans or sports-related participants, being able to take that vision so that you can coordinate it with your other skill sets. That's training that's called sports vision training and stuff. And there's specialists that actually work with just that to go and enhance players' abilities to be able to not only see clearly, but be able to go and coordinate that with their other senses to be able to be a gifted player or excel And some people get it just naturally. I think Russell Wilson's one of those. Lots of football players and hockey players. I mean, Wayne Gretzky, knew where everybody was on the ice. You didn't have to have these telepathic passes because he just knew where everybody was. Some of us aren't quite like that, and you have to actually train for that. And you can train. You can't have something. You can't necessarily be the same as those individuals, but you can certainly train to enhance what you've got.
So what was your favorite play of the game?
Well, I'm a little partial to Marshawn Lynch and that catch, and he just kind of stuck it to them by walking into the end zone. So that was a little bit of, come and get me. I kind of like that. That was the icing on the cake. It was a done deal. That put it away.
He definitely deserves Skittles for that.
He certainly does for doing that.
Well, for the first home game, that was our quick take and a couple of thoughts about vision-related activities for football and Russell Wilson. Steve?
Pretty much sums it up for doing that. We're going to be down here next weekend, and actually the fun thing is I'm bringing all the staff down, and we're all going to go to the game. We're going to have 14 of them in a row up in the Hawk's Nest. Some of them it'll be their first football game, and you know what? We're praying for good weather. Otherwise, it's going to be ponchos for everybody.
Well, we'll have a great time. And,
yeah, we will.
It's the Jaguars. I don't know how they did. I don't know how they did yesterday, but I know how we did. 29-3 certainly looks like fun.
It certainly looks like fun, and let's hope they can bring it on next week.
Loud and proud from Seattle.
You bet.
Go Hawks.